Well, I have to ask the question, will Spooky Central Rife plasma work on Epstein Barr virus? I really would think so, in my humble opinion. This unit's actually been performing flawlessly as far as, actually just working and providing the correct frequencies and accuracy. Nothing's breaking down, nothing's having to be reset, the way I'm using it. And you can see how I have it here. It's like, usually maybe this one coil isn't going to matter, but you can see I have the wires separated coming over to the plasma unit, the plasma bulb, the plasma bulb is located far away from the generator and the computer itself, so everything's in line like this. So I actually turn the unit sideways. Put a couple strings on here just to make sure these don't pull out, but they don't pull out too easily, but just little extra precautions here and there. And, I can't tell you if it's going to work on Epstein Barr or not, but I have to tell you this. I do have a lot of faith in what Hulda Clark's frequencies are. And I know if you're looking at this in the camera, you can see it looks like the screen is flickering on the computer. That's just how it's picking up on a camera. It's not really doing that at all to my eyes. I don't know why the camera picks it up like that, but that's the way it does it. And the only thing I could say is, when I'm looking at these frequencies on this list, sometimes I'm doing this. This is the best thing. If you can't see some of the numbers up there or what it's saying, magnifying glass, right? Yeah, that's the perfect thing. I know the Windows has a magnifier in there, but the old pick up your magnifying glass works fine. So the first thing you do, and I already did this though, you can see the settings are down here to correct. It's got like the 5 volts square wave, the 100% positive offset. It's already in there. And I'm showing, if I do it this way, do you see this check mark right here? I got that, the arrow pretty bold so you can see it. I think you can see it well. If it's checked, you see the advanced menu. If all that stuff down there is gobbledygook and you're saying, what the hell is that stuff? Just uncheck it. And all this stuff down here is just an example. You don't have to see what's going on in the advanced menu. Only thing you got to do is select from the drop-down menu. You can make this as complicated as you want. And then there's a lot of people with a lot of theories out there beyond, what the actual spooky people are saying, or what John White is saying, spooky people, whatever, I don't know. But the people that developed this product are saying, there's a lot of things. You can make this as complex as you want, and it scares people off. You can just select Spooky Central. That's all you do. Now, I know that this thing can handle the right frequency, so I just, they got all these different frequencies set, so this thing works from like 100,000 hertz to 3.5 million hertz, in that range. Now, a lot of the other frequencies are much lower, but I'll guarantee you sometime later there's going to be something in a program that'll account for that or whatever. So what I did was, I selected Rife and Hulda Clark, which is HC over here. HC. So I'm just looking at their frequencies. Almost all the Hulda Clark frequencies are in this range, in the range of the Spooky Central. And so, like say for instance, Epstein Barr virus, you got 1 and 2. You just go to here, and it'll go down there on the bottom. See right here in this block right here. You just double click this. Missed it. Right here. God, man. There it is. See, it jumped down there in the bottom. Double click the next one. Jump down there in the bottom. So I already put the presets in there. Put the Epstein Barr virus 1 and 2. Now, if you want to look at the advanced menu, this light is going to flash because it's set to 4 hertz gating. That means it's applying these frequencies with a 4 hertz, 4 times a second gating. And the frequencies themselves are like, for Hulda Clark, she says 372,500 to 382,350. And then she's got 375,000 for part 2. Now, say for instance, where the only place I would get in here and I'd say, you know, modify something in this advanced menu, and say to repeat the program 12 times. And you can say you repeat each frequency so many times, repeat each set so many times. Let's repeat the program 12 times. And like, you'll see what I mean by that. So when you look down here in the button here, this is the generator button. It's red. That means it's stopped. You click it on, and you can see here's the set. Set 1 and set 2. Set 1 and set 2. Set 1 and set 2. See it going all the way down there? 12 times. So, see, you want to run this a long time. And it's got the proper settings in there, square wave, 50% duty cycle. I don't want to say all that stuff, but people, sometimes you hear that stuff, square wave, you know, it's just take the preset. You don't have to think, really. You don't need to know the advanced menu. But the only thing I wanted to point out with that advanced menu, sometimes the program is preset to only run like 3 minutes, and say you want to run it longer. Now, I do know that, you know, at least according to theory, that if you have the exact right frequency and you're using plasma, it probably only takes a few minutes to do the job, but say you want to run it long. So you would start it, and it's running, installing the waveforms, and as it's installing the waveforms, it's like thinking, and it's going to be, see the bulb is off right now, right? See, as soon as it clicks on, generator clicks on, and, wait a minute, you know what, I forgot something here, but this is not a problem. You don't want to, let me stop the generator. I forgot to turn the unit on. Okay, the unit's not on. Now, anytime you unplug something in, but you unplug something or you plug something in, you want to turn the unit off. You don't want to actually turn the unit, you don't want to unplug something while it's running. So, you know, no harm done here because it was just running the generator and it was going into here and it was just, you know, going into nowhere. So let me start it again. And there it goes. It starts immediately. Here's the light. Well, the flashing of the plasma. The flashing is the 4 hertz. But it's actually running those frequencies, whatever I said. I don't know what I said, actually. One of them was, I think, was 375,000. One was like, let me see that what that was again. But it's actually running, yeah, 372,500 to 382,350 for the first set. Second set is 375,000. So it looks like it's going to run that for a while. That's a pretty long time. That's going to run. You know, that would be a long time. 3,600 seconds. So that's 30 minutes. So you probably only need to, I've not needed to do the actual, you know, the program repeat, but, you know, what the hell. Sometimes they only run for 3 minutes, and I figure, well, maybe you want to do the program repeat or frequency repeat. That's about the only time I really need to go into that advanced menu, but in this case, I wouldn't have needed that because this is going to run a while. This is going to probably run like an hour just for Epstein Barr virus 1 and Epstein Barr virus 2. Now, if you hate Hulda Clark and you don't believe everything she says, well, it's probably not going to work. But I think I've heard a lot of stuff about her frequencies that, you know, when you're not talking about like her zapper, like with just a single, you know, when you're talking about that zapper with a single frequency, that thing was designed for people that can make something for like $30. And, you know, if you use it enough, there's theories about, you know, what the positive offset does, and supposedly supercharges your white blood cells, and a positive offset is actually bad for all microbes. That's her theory, you know, not mine. You know, I can't test her words, okay? But I've, you know, through, you know, the most responsible people I can think of, you know, because it's actually like hearsay. Let me put it that way. It really is, because, you know, nobody's allowed to actually say that this cures something. Nobody's allowed to say that, but from everything I heard, her frequencies are pretty damn accurate. You're not talking about the zapper now. You're talking about, now I know there's zappers out there that use Hulda Clark technology that have multiple frequencies that are accurate, but as far as her list of those frequencies that are usually over 100,000, they're supposed to be pretty damn accurate. So, I'm just putting it out here for informational purposes. Somebody wants to experiment with this because, Epstein Barr virus is one of those things that are very difficult to, get rid of or something. This plasma is supposed to have let me tell you, I'm just repeating like what I learned, okay? I mean, I'm not going to be able to sit here with, I bought a frequency counter and, what was that? The Leader LDC 822 frequency counter, and I think it was a Hitachi analog oscilloscope. But, I'm not going to sit here and play scientist and get, mega dollar freaking microscopes and try to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going by what other people told me, okay? I'm just kind of presenting some general information here. I'm not a doctor or anything, and no doctors use this stuff. That's really the point while I'm presenting it, because they're not allowed to. Maybe there's some alternative clinics that are allowed to. Maybe not in the United States or something, right? I'm not sure what you could do in the United States. I think it varies by state. I think some states you're allowed to do things, and some states you're not allowed to, and I don't know. But this thing, the frequencies, let me say, I think it's a scientific accurate statement to say this, though. The frequencies, it has a near field and a far field. The near field penetrates up to 6 inches into the body. And then the far field, I don't know how long it goes. It might go more than a few meters or something. So, maybe that would be a reason you want to use this longer. But it's all experimental. But let me put it this way. If you have something that is like hopeless, this might be the damn thing to get. Damn thing to get. This might be the thing to get. I don't know. Maybe. If nothing works, try it out. Now, I did not see anything on here for the Zeta virus listed yet. And if there is something listed for the Zeta virus, it may not be in the range of this. But then again, this thing also has ultrasound. I don't have this plugged in right now. That supposedly penetrates the body very well because it goes through water better than air. You hold this against your body, right? It also has a contact mode. And you can also just use the contact mode with the generator without the, the Spooky Central. It has a few things in there: pulse electronic magnetic force and PEMF. But the main thing is actually the plasma. Now, I don't know if they ever come out with a, that's one of the big topics today, but maybe CETA's not, I don't know, maybe it's, I saw something actually online where they showed it was depositor was the Rockefellers or something, 1947 CETA virus. I was like, one of those conspiracy things out there, they're behind it. I don't know, who the hell knows. But, maybe they just know about it. Maybe it's been around. Nothing's actually brand new. A lot of diseases are dormant for many years, and all of a sudden they come out someplace, There could be man-made ones, though, too. There's a lot of things like, anthrax is one of the things that, people mailing letters, and they put the powder on the letters, and, all this garbage. Would this work on anthrax? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Curious if that even has something in here for Hulda Clark. I just looked at the word virus, and I said, let me try to find a virus that I heard of. Because it's I'm not going to tell you this stuff like real complicated, because let me see if I can find it's one thing I can't see in here too well. This is kind of dim. This thing's got a light. I got to hit this button and that button. This light goes on, but the hell with that. Anthrax. Oh, there is something. Yeah, there is an Anthrax. Oh, it's under Rife. 139,200. Well, that's interesting. That might work, too. Who the hell knows? That's interesting. I don't want to make you any promises here now, but, that's interesting, okay? I mean, Rife, supposedly these are the original Rife frequencies that are in this list. And the way this machine works, what's unique about this is the only one in the world that can hit all the Rife frequencies and apply them directly with no carrier wave. I got to explain what that is, because they explain it actually in their manual, but I'll kind of rehash that real quickly. In my own words, not their words. There was the partner that came on the scene later of Royal Rife, and Royal Rife wasn't a doctor, but he was still a genius. He did this technology did work on cancer back in the 30s, 35, whatever. But his partner came along, Philip Hoyland, and what happened was, to disguise, because he couldn't patent the frequencies, to disguise the frequencies, what he did was, he combined a carrier wave with another wave, and he created sidebands, and it made a whole pile of different sideband frequencies, and only one of those sideband frequencies was the real one. But the thing was, the sideband frequency that was the real one was only generating a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the original method. So this is the original method, more or less. It's very close. In other words, it's applying the frequencies directly, and that way it's the original method. It's not using, vacuum tubes or radio waves, but it's applying the frequency directly, full power. So if you're applying the frequency full power, like I don't feel nothing here, but, it goes 6 inches near field. It'll permeate right through the body, 6 inches deep, strongly. And then it goes past that. So, that's another thing. Will it work on anthrax? I wouldn't want to test it. But let me put it this way. If you got no choice, hey, it's the damn thing you want, right? That's for sure. But anyway, I just want to do a quick presentation on this. So far, I've been, experimenting with the unit for a while here. It seems like it's very, very well built. No problems with it. And, you can see that this is just an impromptu presentation. And I actually forgot to turn the unit on, when I first clicked it on. But that's not a problem. The only thing you don't want to do is, you don't want to actually unplug something when everything's running. You want to turn the unit off. Then, say for instance, you want to use the ultrasound. I'm showing my boots here, right? I love those boots, man. You want to use the ultrasound, and you don't want to use this. You can turn the unit off, unplug the plasma, but I always use the plasma. That's why it's in there with strings and stuff. Then you can plug in your ultrasound and then turn the unit back on. It's that simple. Anything, but this thing, I don't think this thing is really well built to, it's built to very strong specifications, supposedly last a long time, and even in clinical environments and things. The other thing is, actually, when I first got this, I was saying, what the hell is this thing for? Because I think one of the early instructions didn't say what that was for. And I used the wrong cord, and it caused the generator to stop or freeze up. But you got to have this cord. If you have this cord, everything works perfect. It has to, even though this wire has to stay wrapped around this magnet. I don't know how it works. It works. Okay, that's all I got to say. But pretty interesting. Epstein Barr virus and anthrax. Boy, that'd be something else if this proven to work. I hope there's not a lot of money people out there getting mad at this, but then again, I always look at it like this way. You want to keep people alive because as they learn things over your lifetime, they have a lifetime of experience that you just can't learn in school. It's all a matter of education. Your education can continue. Your life experiences can continue. Can you imagine if people were around for thousands of years? Imagine the type of intellect they would have that they can apply to new things. See, I'm an idealist in some ways. I think humans can probably go anywhere in the universe practically, for crying out loud. Even if we ran out of room here on Earth, there's other places we can go. So, I'm not into this stuff where they got to depopulate and all this kind of garbage, because I think that's part of the reason for some of these harmful medical things with vaccinations and, kind of like editorializing, what do you call it? Just saying my opinion here. But, that's why I think a lot of these, there's plots out there to actually, depopulate. And they're thinking, well, if everybody lives to be a real long time because of lack of disease, see, this actually works like we hope it does. I hope it does. I'm not a spooky member, but I'm a spooky end user, Spooky Central end user. Let's hope, if it works the way it's designed to work, maybe people could be living a long time. Say, well, there's too many people on the earth, but that's not how I look at it. Because you don't really get into stride until even your teens, and then it really takes even into your 30s and 40s before you really get to be the best in your field with your education and experience. So suppose you extended that out many decades by having extremely good health and lack of disease. What, like I always said, the example, what would Einstein have developed if he was still alive today and he's got hundreds of years left in his lifetime? Right? So, look at the bright side. Look at the bright side. So anyway, I just want to do a quick update on it. The unit's working flawlessly. No problem with the lights having to go off, or, they flicker like that because it's designed to do that. That 4 hertz gating, when it's applying the frequency with a 4 hertz gate like with that with the flash, according to what I know, is that makes it more effective, okay? You're not going to find a double blind, triple blind study out there because, like I said, this is not an FDA endorsed thing where your medical community can say this, but it's more experimental. And, I just hope you're the best if you have one of these units. I feel like, this is a pretty good damn thing to have because, you never know. Biological weapons, hey, I don't know, maybe you got a fail safe here, so that's interesting. Anyway, so you got frequencies for Epstein Barr virus and Anthrax that hopefully would work very well. And considering that the plasma permeates the body very deeply, it should reach where those, afflictions are. So we shall see.